Hello and welcome to a brand spanking new Crafty Simulations video. Now, I've been flying quite a few unique GA aircraft. That's obviously what the channel is famed for, general aviation VFR flying here in Microsoft Flight Simulator. However, just about every one of my GA aircraft that I've flown so far, Cessnas, Pipers, the likes, are all... they look like aircraft. They are aircraft, but they look like normal aircraft. Today, I give you for your viewing pleasure something that doesn't look like an aircraft in any way, shape or form. This is the Black Square Velocity XL. And it is a first for this channel in quite a few ways. One, this is a kit plane, and I don't think I've featured a kit aircraft. Now, obviously, the Flight Simulator is not a kit aircraft, but in the reality of the world, it is a kit aircraft. I believe you probably can purchase this from the actual company who make it, but you can also make this in your garden shed, which is a frightening thought if you could make your own aircraft. I can only imagine what kind of trouble I'd get into. But that's not only the only thing that this is a first for. This aircraft has canards. That's these things here. And I don't believe I featured an aircraft yet with canards in it. It is also, again, this is another first, an aircraft in a pusher configuration, i.e. the prop blades here at the back, not at the front, like this pipe over there. I'm fairly certain I've flown aircraft with winglets, but I think the Diamond DA42 has winglets as an example, but they're not as big as these ones. These are big, that's a piece of the building, but these are big winglets that get involved, which are also the rudder. This aircraft is, it's fun. It's absolutely fun. I dare say it's completely utterly fun in the reality of the world, but this aircraft, I've flown it a couple of times now, and that's actually really, really impressed. Now, the reason why I've chosen this aircraft, the reason why I purchased this aircraft, is because it is Black Square. Now, for those who don't know, Black Square make quite a few aircraft, and they go to the nth level of detail when it comes to the aircraft. Now, their latest series of aircraft, the Dukes, are considered to be some of the best twin aviation aircraft we have in the Flight Simulator. And we don't just have one type of engine for the Dukes. We have the piston Dukes and we have the turbine Dukes, or turbo Dukes even. So Black Square went to the nth level in creating the Dukes. Now those, like I say, are the latest aircraft that they've released. This is one of the earliest aircraft they've released. It's simple. Compared to a lot of other aircraft, it's very, very simple. Its avionics are very, very simple. Its cockpit is a very, very simple layout. So really stop panning the camera for a building. Stop it. But this is like a fun airplane, an airplane you can just get into, like I say, build it in your garden shed, and if you've got an airfield nearby, you could, in theory, fly it. Now, I don't know whether that relates to, in reality, what we could do in the UK. I've not seen too many of these aircraft. This, obviously, is an American registration, so, you know, it's probably more of an American thing than it is a British thing. But it is a Black Square aircraft, nevertheless. We can see just how... you know, it says experimental upside down because the door's that way, but it's an experimental aircraft. You can build this by yourself. I'd love to see the instruction manual for building this thing. I mean, I struggle with instruction manuals for washing machines. You know, this thing must be biblically huge. But we're talking about the flight sim version, so how good is this aircraft? So as you can see, it is, like I say, it is a kit aircraft, and it is probably made out of very exotic plastics. I don't know, carbon fibre. I have no idea what this thing's made out of. It is light. It is sporty. I think it has a 500 horsepower turbocharged engine. Don't quote me on that, but it is a fast little fella, and it is very aerodynamic. And like I say, it is a completely different way of flying. Before I go into boring everyone to death about how a canard works, let's jump into the inside first before we talk about this. So, interior-wise, it's very simple. We have three screens. We have a GTN 750 sitting here. This is the TDS version of the 750. You have options for the TDS version and the PMS I forget, there's so many letters and so many numbers, but the two different versions of GTN 750s we have on the Flight Simulator, this has access to the pair of them, assuming that you have purchased the the GTN 750s. So we also have Garmin G1000-esque units. I don't know exactly what these are called, but you know, I've got a G1000 physical unit sitting in front of me, and it fairly works, sort of the same. It's probably not a G1000 exactly, but I can't remember exactly what it is without looking at the manual. Other than that, very, very simple layout, very few instrumentation, physical instruments, but you have your basics, your altitude, your artificial horizon, and your airspeed, but they're also put across your screen here. You have a navigational screen on this side. We have AC, undercarriage, autopilot, inflating door seals. I think that's when the world has gone wrong and you have decided to crash into water, but yeah, we know how to do that in Flight Sim. We have some lighting controls here. The vents don't work. ELT, that works. Don't think I really need that. We have, are they USBs? It's got USB connectivity. Oh, I hope that connects up to some music system. We got USBs over here? No, we haven't. So moving down, we have, I'm guessing that's a climate control system, which by the look of it actually works. I haven't tested it. Fuel tanks, fuel shut-offs and all that kind of nature. We have a throttle, pitch and a mixture controls. So a lot of aircraft don't have that these days. Your fuel, I believe it's down there, is it? Well, let's see if I get the right button. Hey, I did. No, emergency, let's not press that. I think it's all just, is it one tank? It must be. We have some controls across the top here, so we'll just move in a little bit there. So we have our landing lights, strobe lights, nav lights, and cabin lights. We have an alternate master fuel pump. Is it alternate master? I'll probably like that. Pitot heat, radio master, battery master, left and right mag, and your engine start button. So it is very well designed. Nice Velocity logo there. Nice comfortable leather seats. Can we move that? We can. Oh, I didn't even know that was there. Oh boy. Right, this is a fuse panel, obviously. Again, I keep saying it's an aircraft. It doesn't bother me if it doesn't have a fuse panel, but if it's got one, I would like to, for it to be functional, and it is on that one. So that it's even got sounds for it. That's cool. I like that. We do have seating in the back for two brave people who want to get in your aircraft that you've just built in a shed. We have gull wing doors. That's always cool. It's not just Mercedes that have gull wing doors, or supercars have them. Now we have the Velocity XL. So yes, before we get going, I shall now bore you to death with why canard wings are a little bit different than, let's say, that Cessna over there. So, in a nutshell, and I'm going to get this completely wrong, I know this for a fact, your canards are what make the aircraft go basically up and down. Just checking as well, it doesn't do left and right, but no. So there, up and down is done at the front of the aircraft. Up and down on that aircraft is at the back. So your tail controls have gone all the way forward. Your left and right wing controls, still on the wings, but naturally the wings have been pushed back on this aircraft, so they are now at the back of the aircraft. That's up and down is now at the front. And obviously, minus a rudder, because somebody's put a great big honking fan blade back there, we have to split the rudder now, in this case, and put it onto the gigantic winglets. So if I stamp on the rudder pedals, we get some movement. So what benefit do you get for having canards? Well, as an example, in the Royal Air Force, we have the Eurofighter Typhoon, which is our frontline fighter aircraft, strike aircraft. And it has canards. Now, canards give more nose authority to an aircraft. So in a dogfight scenario, you can pull the nose round quicker and harder to get more maneuverability to shoot down the enemy. Now, obviously, we're not doing that in this thing, but we have a different flight profile, for want of a better word. That aircraft goes up and down, basically from the rear of the aircraft. This one, and you'll only feel this if you have this aircraft, it does feel different in the way it gains height and loses height. So the more you pull back on the stick, this aircraft really does have very good nose authority. It's very hard to get used to, but once you have got used to it, it's a very, very good aircraft. Very, very manoeuvrable. Remembering also, it is very light. And it has quite a powerful engine for, you know, like I say, I think it's a 500 horsepower engine on it. So very aerodynamic as well. So this thing is slippery, which also assists in the ability to go chuffing quick for a propeller-driven aircraft. So the way this thing flies is completely and utterly different to the way just about any other normal aircraft flies, where the tail surfaces are at the back and obviously the wings are in the middle. This thing has the wings at the back and then tails at the front, and your rudders put out on the end of the wings. Completely and utterly different, but like I say, I like this aircraft. It looks brilliant. It's a fantastic little aircraft. And like I say, I can't wait to get this into the sky. I've flown it a couple of times now, and it's been an absolute riot. So I've now bored everyone to death with my not so brilliant attention to detail regarding canards. But like I say, you'll probably feel this. Well, you won't feel this, but you'll probably see this in the flight we're going to be doing today. Also, we have a folding undercarriage that also assists to getting this aircraft to go quickly. Now, the downside of this, I'm just going to cover this as well, is we don't have any flaps. We don't have any spoilers, we don't have any air brakes, so landing this aircraft can be a bit of a challenge, because if you get ahead of yourself, or allow the aircraft to get ahead of you on a landing, if it's real, this can cause disaster. In the flight simulator, it can still cause disaster, it's just less expensive and less screaming. But basically, you have to really be aware that this aircraft likes to go quick. I would say, and it has been recommended to me, to slip the aircraft. Slip the rudder either way to basically twist the aircraft in. I don't know what the technical term is. Basically, you're slipping the aircraft in on the approach to a runway. Obviously, the more longer the runway, the better you are. The easier it is to land, naturally. Smaller the runway, you do have a bit more work to do. So I've now boarded everyone to death. Let's get this aircraft in the sky, shall we? So first of all, we can start this aircraft with the door open, because like I say, the fan blade is right at the back there. So we'll have cockpits all the way forward, mixture is going to be all the way forward, battery is going to come on, blah 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 blah. We don't have strobe lights, we'll have nav lights. Them in, so we need to do that to start. Obviously we've got the, it's not a G1000 system, but we have the aircraft head-up display here, and we have a map here which we can change so that we can have it all onto that and use the map there, like so. So, no. I don't know, this aircraft needs to be primed. I've never really had much issue starting this. Left mag, right mag. Now I do have a button here for how to start this. So clear on the left, clear on the front, clear on the right, a clear prop. Should say clear prop for the people behind us. A rather different sounding aircraft, I must admit, but you get used to it. So that on, turn Radio Master on. Let the Garmin boot up, and we shall shut this door. Get that cleared and set. Get that cleared, let that set. Whole system is going to start sweep.
System test okay.
Thank you. Scared the living jeevers out of me, but you know, so be it. Oh, we can set the temperature. Cool. Stop playing with buttons. Yeah, that message. Leave it on map. Don't really need that actually, because we've got a great big chuffing map here. CDS, of that GPS. Now I know I'm going to sport that. We're going to sport VFR, thank you very much, and put that onto on. We'll leave that screen there so I don't forget it, because I normally do. Autopilot's going to stay on. We'll have the AC on. We'll have the power on for that. I'm not going to press inflate. I wonder if that works. I'm going to have to try that at some point. Not crashing the aircraft into water before anyone suggests it. So landing lights don't need, strobe lights don't need, cabin lights don't need. Set that. So T's and P's. Let's just check that. So fuel onboard fuel is good. Temperatures are quite low, obviously, at the moment. Oil temperature is good. Oil PSI is it's in the green, but it's a little bit higher for my liking. Yeah, just rev the engine up a little bit and we'll get some response to the engine gas temperatures. They'll probably warm up as we get going. So, once again, we see ourselves at Wickenby. Turn my fan off. I do apologise if you just heard that. That's my fan, because it is quite warm today. Squawking 7000. We'll do an altitude one from here. So, last time I flew this aircraft, I flew it from here to Waddington, which is a nice long runway. We're going to fly it a little bit difficultly now. We're going to fly it there. We're going to take off even from here, from Wickenby, and we're going to have a little flight round Wickenby, and we're going to fly back into Wickenby, because I want to challenge myself. I want to see what it's like landing on a smallish runway. So, coming to the parking brakes. Very good sounds in this aircraft as well. Obviously, the engine is at the back, the noisy thing is at the back, so it does tend to obviously be a bit more quieter than conventional aircraft. So, city will have strobe lights are on, landing lights not required, pitot heat not required, fuel pumps coming on. Just checking everything is honky dory, we're good to go. Again, I can't even say my words right. Departing after runway 21 here at Wickenby, we will have the usual hump to deal with. This aircraft might even be airborne before we even get there, or certainly very close to it anyway. So, run for the last checks on my throttle, everything is set. Sorry if that moved the view a little bit too quickly, but lovely side sticks here. Still a weird thing to have basically tail controls on the front of the aircraft, but hey, oh. Let's just rev this up. Hear the sound of the turbocharger whining? Let's go. Airspeed's live. There's 60. And we're airborne before we even get to the point of the hump. This aircraft be fast. Tap the brakes, gears coming up. Calm the engines down a little bit. Engine, I should say, down. So there we are, airborne in the Velocity. snazzy little aircraft. Now, as I was given a brief description as what canards do in, or do for aircraft, this aircraft is very twitchy on the nose department until you start trimming the aircraft out. And obviously we have got the wind buffeting us because we are a light aircraft. It is a different handling style to other aircraft. So if I go into a left-hand turn here and start pulling the stick back, and pulling back, and pulling back, it really does turn very quickly. We can do that to the right. Pulling back, pulling back, pulling back. Very, very high performance on the or very nose effective in decreasing or increasing your altitude. It's like a little sports car. It's probably the only way I can really describe it. It's a fast little fella. Obviously not designed to be aerobatic, but a very good cruiser of great distances. Like I say, comfortable seating for 4 people, if you can find 3 other people to sit in an aircraft that you've built yourself. I dare say you can probably get the company to build this as well, but... But typical of Black Square, I mean, it's a very simple aircraft compared to the other Black Square aircraft that have come out in the past. It's one of the first ones they released. But it is very, very good. Very, very unique. So we're going to start our descent. Now, obviously, like I said while we're on the ground, we don't have flaps. We don't have air brakes or anything of the like. So landing, you really do have to be on your ball, almost treating it like a fighter plane, which I suppose technically it's, you know, it is futuristic. It is a different way of flying. Just want to try and find where Wickenby is at the moment. I think we're approaching Wickenby's airspace. Yes, I've got Wickenby. I've got the hangar. Or should I say the depot warehouse. That beeping is obviously the when I pull the throttle back a little bit too low, when we've got undercarriages folded up. So currently doing 114 knots, low throttle. Yeah, holding about 115, so we'll make a pass over Wickenby, turn to the left, enter the circuit, enter downwind, and we'll try and keep visual with the airfield. Like I say, this is going to be an interesting landing. I've not landed this aircraft at a short runway like what we have here at Wickenby. So we're going to start our turn early. Gear going down. I will say this for aircraft that don't need flaps for landing, you don't have to worry about too much on your checklist for landing, because, well, as long as you've got the gear down, that's all you need, really. So we're going to extend our sails away from the airfield. Landing lights are on. Gear is down, 3 green. And we'll start our turn back in. Slip her in with the rudder a little bit. Not the best approach on this aircraft, but we're light and slow enough.
500.
So we're maintaining about 83 knots. Bit of a steep approach, but 76 knots. Ooh, you bugger. And that's what we call in the business a knackered nose wheel. Still, I've been making good landings recently. I suppose it's about time I made a bad landing. Like I say, it is a difficult aircraft to get on the ground and get slow enough on a short field runway. I flew this into Waddington, which obviously is ample runway, and was able to put it down quite smoothly, but obviously this one was not one of those times for a smooth landing. So landing lights are coming off, strobe lights are off, fuel pump is already off, don't need to do anything else. Yeah. So yes, I suppose other people would probably make another video, obviously trying to showcase how good they are at making landings in difficult aircraft. I'm not one of those people. I'm going to show you how to land this aircraft correctly. So I will be featuring this aircraft in another video. I think this is only my third flight maybe now, in this aircraft. So definitely going to need a time in the garage now for this aircraft. So we're off. Don't know why that came on. Squawking. We shall go set standby. Keep expecting to see a propeller blade at the front, and you don't. So nav lights are off. Radio message is off. Alternate is off. As the battery is now off. So, there is the Velocity by Black Square. Very, very good aircraft. Not so good landing for me. Like I said, I'm going to feature this aircraft a little bit more because I think there's a lot for this aircraft. It is a very, very good aircraft. Obviously, this was the first time I've landed it back here at Wickenby, which obviously didn't go particularly well. But yeah, I will definitely be coming back to this aircraft. So apologies for the bad landing, but any landing you can walk away from is a good one for me. So I will see you. If you have, should I say, if you have any questions or comments about this aircraft, feel free to make comments on my landing. It wasn't the best. But yeah, I will obviously answer any questions or comments about this aircraft or any other flight simulator aircraft on my channel. And I think this will be now the last video before I go on holiday. So I'm not sure whether I'll be doing videos next week. I doubt it. And I will get back to doing flight simulator content after my holiday. I'm just going to break away from it all. And I'll be coming back, like I say, with the UK tour in the Duke, again another Black Square aircraft, and I'll be coming up with some more fantastic general aviation aircraft on VFR flights here on Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. So yes, I will see you guys very, very soon. Yes, see you later.